Before you start any long question in M1, make sure you read every word very carefully. It's worth to spend a little bit more time, maybe even few minutes to read carefully to understand what is describing in the situation. They say there are two machines, and then the first machine P, then we model the production curve like this. And then they say alpha and alpha 1. Make sure you know what is corresponding meaning. Alpha mean the true value, exact value for the total production within the first 4 months. And then alpha 1 is just estimation. They ask us to find alpha 1. So about the production curve, maybe it's like this. I'm not really sure, but I just simply let it. Pt is equal to t natural log t squared plus 4. And then what we want to find is about the total production in the time between 0 and 4. What is the total production here is what we want to find. So basically we are finding the area under curve is equal to 40 pt, corresponding time difference. But the problem is we don't really know how we can integrate this item. In mathematical world, there's still a number of functions. We don't know how to integrate it. That's why we need to use the estimate method. The method to estimate it, one of the method is trapezoidal rules. That means we assume this curve area is separated to different trapezium. And then they say 4 sub-individual. That means 0 to 4 individual. So each individual representing 1. And then we use this height. We can just simply substitute x equal to 1 or t equal to 1 here to know the height here. We have the upper base together with the lower base times the width here. That means the height. Then we can get the area of this trapezium. We do the same for the second one and the third one. So this is alpha, and then our estimation. Alpha 1 is equal to A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4. So for each trapezium, we have the lower base P0. This case, the upper base is P1. And then the width is 4 divided by 4 sub-individual. In this case, the width for each trapezium is 1. P1 and P2 in the other one. So to conclude, that means this is 1 over 2 trapezium P0 plus 2 times of P1 because it's appeared twice, and then plus 2P2 plus 2P3 and then plus P4. Only the most left hand side and most right hand side appear once. And don't forget you have to times the height of each trapezium. The height of each trapezium here is 1. Therefore, to facilitate our calculation, we have to prepare P0, P1, P2, P3 until P4. We need 5 values to get alpha 1. We just substitute it inside, we get 0. And then we get and then you store all this value into A, B, C, D, E. So it's much easier for you to use the calculator if you store this value into 5 different slots. Then we get it is 38.9093, correct to nearest 4 dp. Then every time after that, they will ask you about the overestimate or underestimate. So they are asking you, is this graph like this or is this graph like this? If it is decreasing slope like this, then this is underestimate. The true value, there is some space we didn't calculate, so the true value should be bigger than our estimated value. This is called underestimate. And then the condition here is the slope is decreasing. Originally very high slope and then gradually becomes zero and then finally decreasing. So the condition is smaller than zero, decreasing slope. In contrast, that means the opposite case, when our second degree derivative is larger than zero with increasing slope. In this case, if we consider a trapezium, then we will find that we calculate some space which is not included. That's why our estimation is bigger than our true value. This is overestimated. Therefore, to know whether alpha is overestimated or underestimated, you have to remember the key is the second order derivative. We have to differentiate this curve twice to know this curve is that decreasing slope or increasing slope. Remember, we care about the curve itself. We do not care about the area below it at this moment. So what you should do is differentiate the curve twice. Original function, we have 2t natural log t squared plus 4. After that, you have to differentiate once. And you're going to differentiate the second time. But this format, I think that I can use a better method to write this item in another format to facilitate our calculation. So I prefer plus 4. At the same time, I have to minus 4. So t squared plus 4 together with t squared plus 4 will give you 1 and then minus 4 times of t squared plus 4. It's because second order derivative is troublesome. That's why we have to use some tricks to simplify our calculation, something like that. So the second order now. Our target is to prove this item is that always less than 0 or always larger than 0 in the given range of t. So that's why two terms is not favorable our calculation. We have to combine it to form a fraction. Extract 4t, so what inside is t squared plus 4 and also plus 8 here. So 4t times t squared plus 12 and then t squared plus 4 squared. This is a positive value or 0 in this region, and then this is always positive. Something square always positive, so the whole thing is always larger than 0. or equal to 0 for all t in this range. So therefore we say that this is increasing slope, and then our calculation is overestimated. Therefore, once you can prove that the second order is always larger than 0, then you can just simply draw your conclusion. Alpha 1 is an overestimation. Overestimate, which means that in your brain you know that means alpha is in fact smaller than alpha 1. This inequality is useful in the part B2 calculation. In part B1 is totally independent compared with part A. So they just say that about machine Q now. We are going to get the total amounts of the production. So this is the amounts of production for each given time, certain moment of time. So the total amount is the sum when t moving from 0 to 4. So again, we are calculating the area below the curve. The total amount is the integral of the result at each time. And we are talking about from time 0 to 4. So the problem is just asking us to integrate this item, and then in order to integrate this, they give us some hints, which is the method of substitution. We have to replace every with t and replace it in terms of u. That's the tricks for substitution, so that we can just focus on u, the whole thing together. And we are going to change all t in terms of u in one single step. And beware that a certain part will depend on t. Both the upper bound and lower bound will be affected by. When you use different variable, no longer t, then the upper bound and lower bound will be changed corresponding values. And then we have our target. We can change this to u. We have no idea how can we change this one yet. And we also have dt that we need to handle. So we have to stop our calculation for a while, and then we have some preparation work. When u is equal to natural log 2et plus 1. I need dt, so I handle it first. Maybe this one I still need to calculate, but maybe we find similar thing that we can just simply ignore it later on. So we just work on derivative of u and t. Du is 1 over 2et plus 1, and then differentiate 2et by chain rule. So we have 2et plus 1. This is 2 times of et dt. One of the key points here is you have to find out the linkage between this part and also this part. You will find that we prefer e power negative t. However, there is e power t. So we should divide both sides by e power t. So we then change the value, and then we get what we want. We have 2, we have e power negative t dt. So now we know that we have to isolate this item so that we can change the whole thing together to du. So next step, only problem is about the upper bound and lower bound. So when t is equal to 4, what is the new corresponding value of u? U is equal to natural log 2e power 2 4 plus 1. I can't simplify it, so just let in this way. So when t is equal to 0, hope it's easier. It's give you natural log 3. We have we finished all the preparation work, and we are going to put them all together. we have to isolate 2 natural log 2 e power t plus 1, and then that's why we have 2 over e power negative t plus 2 together with dt here. When we change it, the upper bound will become natural log 2 e power 4 plus 1. And then the lower bound will become natural log 3. This becomes 2u. Very simple thing to integrate. And also, this whole block together will become du. So by changing the variable expressed in terms of u, we find that it's become a very simple function to integrate. Then we get u squared is the integral, and then but with a little bit complicated upper bound and lower bound. Is 20.9043 correct to nearest 4 dp. Now come to the last part. We are going to compare something. The total amounts of steel produced by Q in the first 4 months exceeds 30%. So we are going to compare 2 items. First is the steel produced by Q in first 4 months. This is the first item versus 30% of the sum of total amount. This is the second item. So from B1, we know that this is equal to 20.9043. And then we are going to compare with another item is 30% of machine P production together with machine Q production. 0.3. This is alpha minus this is 20.9043. Now the key point is here. We don't know what is the true value of alpha. We just simply know that alpha is smaller than alpha 1. So we can draw a conclusion is this item is smaller than if we use the estimated value. Beware, this is estimated values. And let's see what is this value. It should be plus. So this is 17.94 something. That's why to conclude, that means this item is smaller than this. 0.3 of the total amounts of production. Is smaller than 17.94, and this amount compared with 20 point something, this is smaller than the production of QT, the production from machine Q. So that means this item, the second item, is smaller than the first item. We can draw this conclusion because alpha 1 is overestimation. And then, so they say that is this exists this? The fact is yes, this is larger than the second item we want to compare. So we agree the statement. The most important thing is 2 parts. The first part, you must identify there are 2 separated items you want to compare. The second thing is you have to realize that you are going to use part A2. Is that overestimate or underestimate to support your calculation by using estimated value here.